My chest tightened as I watched my sister-in-law dump an entire salt shaker into my paella, the Spanish rice dish I'd spent hours perfecting, all during the 2 minutes I'd stepped out for a call. The wooden spoon scraped against cast iron like nails on a chalkboard as she stirred betrayal into 3 hours of my soul. Then she looked up and smiled. I almost spoke, the question scorched my throat. Then I swallowed it. That silence cost me everything. What I didn't know was that I was victim number 8. Hi everyone, I'm Zoe, and that moment in Spain shattered me, until I realized she'd accidentally filmed her own crime. Comment below where you're watching from. I love connecting with you all, because what I'm about to show you will make you question everyone in your family. The truth about what this woman had been doing wasn't just sabotage. It was systematic psychological warfare that had destroyed 7 women before me. Let me show you how a malicious campaign of manipulation finally met its match. My husband Ryan surprised me with a trip to his parents' villa in Valencia. I'd been married into the Brooks family for 2 years, but his sister Kelsey had always been territorial. The kind of woman who smiled while delivering poison. What I didn't know then was that Ryan had a pattern. Hotel management school had given him more than a degree. It had given him a type. Every woman he'd seriously dated had been in the culinary field. Chefs, pastry artists, food bloggers. I thought it was coincidence. It wasn't. I'm a professional chef running a farm-to-table restaurant in Portland that's booked solid for 3 months out. I thought cooking for the family would finally earn me a place at their table. But even before Spain, something sinister was already happening to my reputation. Anonymous Instagram posts had been appearing, claiming to be from dissatisfied customers at my restaurant. Complaints about oversalted dishes, ruined meals, unprofessional service. Each post carefully crafted to chip away at everything I'd built. The villa was stunning, terracotta tiles, ocean views, and a kitchen that made my heart sing. Real saffron threads in glass jars. A paella pan that had been passed down for 4 generations. But Kelsey's first words when she saw me examining it? Just don't mess it up. Abuela's recipe is sacred in this family. Some people just aren't equipped for our standards. That razor-sharp smile could have cut glass. Ryan's laugh was too quick. The kind of laugh that lands like permission. Here's what broke my heart later. Ryan had been feeding Kelsey information about my insecurities for months. Every vulnerable confession I'd shared in our bedroom had become ammunition. The morning before our dinner party, I witnessed something that should have been a warning. Carmen, the villa's longtime housekeeper, accidentally knocked over a decorative vase while cleaning. It wasn't valuable, just ceramic, but Kelsey's reaction was volcanic. 15 years you've worked here and you're still this clumsy? Kelsey screamed, her voice echoing through the villa. Maybe it's time my parents found someone who actually cares about their things. Carmen stood there, taking the abuse with quiet dignity, but I saw her hands shake. What shocked me more was when Patricia appeared. Instead of defending Carmen, she actually apologized to Kelsey for the staff's carelessness. 15 years of loyal service, dismissed in seconds. The morning of the dinner party, I woke up before dawn. Ryan's parents had invited 6 of their closest friends, people they'd known for decades. This wasn't cooking. This was my audition for permanent family acceptance. Just let Kelsey help, Ryan insisted as I prepped ingredients. She knows the family preferences. But what made my skin crawl was how she anticipated my every move. When I reached for the paprika, she was already holding it. When I needed more olive oil, she pointed to exactly where it was stored. How did she know my cooking style so intimately? For 3 hours I built my masterpiece. Each grain of rice carefully toasted, each thread of saffron bloomed in warm water until it turned golden like liquid sunlight. The villa filled with an aroma so rich it made my soul hum. Ryan's parents drifted into the kitchen repeatedly. Patricia squeezed my shoulder and whispered, "It smells divine, darling." Even Robert, usually unreadable, gave a rare approving nod. But Kelsey hovered like a hawk circling prey. She filmed constantly, pretending it was for Instagram memories. "You know," she said, adjusting her camera angle, "Abuela always said you could tell a woman's character by how she treats saffron. Too much and she's trying too hard. Too little and she doesn't understand sacrifice." Every comment designed to make me second-guess myself, to plant seeds of doubt. That camera in her hand would destroy them both. By sunset the guests had arrived. I sprinkled the final saffron threads across my paella when my phone buzzed with a call. Just keep an eye on it for 2 minutes? I asked Kelsey, who was lounging with her wine glass. Of course, chef, she said, lifting it in mock salute. 2 minutes. That's all it took for her to obliterate everything. When I returned and caught her in the act, hastily setting down the salt shaker like a child caught stealing, the betrayal hit like a physical blow. The shaker that had been nearly full was almost empty, its contents scattered across my golden masterpiece like snow on a crime scene. But something else caught my eye. A small glass vial on the counter that hadn't been there before, now empty but still reeking of vanilla. Sweet and cloying, completely wrong for a savory dish. Vanilla extract. She hadn't just oversalted my paella, she'd added vanilla to clash with the savory flavors, ensuring it would taste wrong in multiple deliberate ways. My hands trembled as I lifted the serving spoon. The first taste confirmed my worst fears. My paella, what should have been a perfect symphony of sea and saffron, now tasted like someone had dumped the Atlantic Ocean into it, with sickly sweet undertones that made my stomach lurch with revulsion. Did you dump a salt mine in here? Kelsey called, theatrically spitting out a bite. God, Zoe, and what's that weird sweet taste? How do you mess up something this basic? The silence that followed was crushing. 6 guests, Ryan's parents, my husband, all staring at their plates trying to be polite while swallowing disappointment and salt. My hands shook as my reputation dissolved in real time. Patricia's face crumpled. Robert pushed his plate away. But then I noticed something chilling. One of the guests was discreetly photographing her plate. Another was taking notes on his phone. They weren't just witnessing my failure. They were documenting it. This wasn't a family dinner. This was an orchestrated public execution. Kelsey, meanwhile, practically glowed. Don't worry, she announced, pulling out her phone with perfect timing. I ordered backup pizza. I had a feeling this might happen. The cruelest twist came as I excused myself. I heard Kelsey whisper to Patricia, "Poor thing. Ryan warned me she gets unstable when she's stressed." I cried in the villa bathroom while everyone ate Domino's and Kelsey held court, mocking Americans who think they can cook European food. But as I sat there, something clicked. The vanilla vial. The perfectly timed photos. This wasn't spontaneous cruelty. This was meticulously planned. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, the taste of salt and humiliation still burning my throat. The villa's ancient walls seemed to mock me with their silence. Beside me, Ryan slept peacefully, completely unaware that his wife's world had crumbled over dinner. At 2 a.m. I couldn't take it anymore. "Ryan." I shook his shoulder, my voice hoarse from holding back tears. "Wake up." He stirred groggily, moonlight streaming through the shutters casting shadows across his confused face. "Zoe? What's wrong?" Kelsey sabotaged my paella. I found the empty vanilla vial. Ryan sat up, but not in the way I'd hoped. The sleepy confusion vanished, replaced by something harder, colder. His expression hardened in the dim light. "You're being paranoid, Zoe." Kelsey's been nothing but supportive. "People were taking photos of the ruined food. You're reading too much into everything." His voice carried that patronizing tone I'd learned to hate, the one that made me feel small and crazy. "Don't let your embarrassment turn you into someone who blames others." That's when I knew I was truly alone in this fight. But I wasn't going to stay silent anymore. 7 women. 5 years. One witness who'd been documenting everything. The next morning, Carmen, the villa's housekeeper, found me on the terrace nursing coffee and my shattered dignity. "Senora Zoe," she said quietly, "I need to tell you something important." My heart started pounding. What happened last night? It was not an accident. She sat beside me, her weathered hands folded. After what Senorita Kelsey did to me yesterday, after Senora Patricia chose her side over 15 years of my service, I decided no more. Her voice was steel wrapped in velvet. "I have been documenting everything for months, Senora. Every cruel word, every sabotage. I knew this day would come." The words hit like cold water. "You have it on camera?" "Most from the security cameras in the kitchen. I had to bribe Miguel, the security guard, to give me access to the footage. Cost me 2 months' salary, but some things are worth more than money." She paused, her eyes hardening. "A few videos I took myself when I suspected what was happening." The blood drained from my face. 3 years ago, Senor Ryan had another novia. Ashley. Sweet girl. Senorita Kelsey did the same thing to her food. Many times. I felt the ground shift beneath me. The same thing. But Ashley was different, Senora. He was a pastry chef. Before her there was Maria, food blogger. Before Maria there was Sophie, catering business. All the same field, all the same destruction. Carmen's voice grew bitter. Senor Ryan, he has a, how you say, fetish for women in food business. Hotel management school, it taught him to appreciate culinary artistry. But Senorita Kelsey, she cannot stand to share her brother's attention with women who create beautiful things. Christmas dinner, she put salt in Ashley's apple pie. Easter, she switched Ashley's bread with old bread. Every time Ashley cooked, something accident happen. Carmen's face grew sad. She stopped coming to dinners. Get very nervous. They break up after 8 months. Why are you telling me this? Because yesterday when she screamed at me about that stupid vase when Senora Patricia took her side without question. I realized that silence makes you guilty too. Her hands clenched. 15 years I clean up her messes, literal and metaphorical. No more. She pulled out her phone. I still have the videos. My heart raced as she showed me the footage. Crystal clear. Kelsey waiting for me to leave, then deliberately sabotaging my paella with methodical precision. The malice on her face as she stirred in destruction was chilling. There's more, Carmen said, showing me Ashley 3 years ago, stepping away from a beautiful apple pie, only to have Kelsey immediately swoop in and dump salt into the filling. Dios mío, I whispered. She's done this before. 7 women over 5 years, Senora. Same pattern every time. But the most devastating revelation came next. Carmen showed me video from 2 days earlier. Ryan sprawled on the couch, wine in hand, talking to Kelsey. She's so desperate to impress you guys, Ryan's voice came through clearly. She practiced the paella recipe 3 times back home. She's terrified of messing up. Kelsey laughed like breaking glass. Poor thing. All that pressure. It would be such a shame if something went wrong. She gets really flustered when people watch her cook, Ryan continued, oblivious. She second-guesses herself when she's nervous. My blood ran cold. He was feeding Kelsey a roadmap of exactly how to break me. Another clip from that morning before I woke up. She was crying last night, Ryan told his sister over coffee. Convinced everyone was taking photos of the ruined food. Maybe we should keep an eye on her. Oh, absolutely, Kelsey replied with mock concern. The poor dear seems so unstable. The cruel irony was staggering. Ryan thought he was being a caring husband. He had no idea he was handing his sister ammunition to destroy me. He doesn't know, I whispered. No, Senora. But ignorance still causes much damage, no? For the first time since arriving in Valencia, I felt something other than humiliation. I felt powerful. The shift was intoxicating. All those months of questioning my sanity, of shrinking myself to fit their expectations. That woman was gone. In her place stood someone who understood that fear could be fuel rather than chains. 2 days later, Patricia would offer me the perfect stage for revenge. Patricia knocked softly on my bedroom door. I'd barely left the room since the disaster. Darling, she said, settling beside me, Robert and I are celebrating our 40th anniversary next month in Portland. We'd love to have the celebration at your restaurant. I stared at her, stunned. After what happened, everyone has off nights. Even Julia Child burned things. Her smile was genuine. We believe in you, Zoe. The opportunity hit me like lightning. My restaurant. My staff. My rules. I would love that, I said, my mind already racing. Wonderful. 50 guests, our closest friends. Make it spectacular. After she left, I called Carmen. The anniversary party. It's happening at my restaurant. Ah, Senora. Perfect place for justice, no? Indeed it was. But first I had investigating to do. Those anonymous Instagram posts that had been haunting my restaurant for months. I needed answers. I hired a digital forensist, and within 48 hours we had traced the account back to its source. The IP address, the posting patterns, even the linguistic analysis of the writing style. All roads led to Kelsey. For 8 months she had been systematically posting fake reviews, creating elaborate stories about terrible experiences at my restaurant. Photos of oversalted dishes that looked suspiciously like the work I'd seen her do. 1-star reviews that coincidentally appeared whenever my booking schedule got too busy. She wasn't just sabotaging me at family dinners. She was trying to destroy my entire livelihood. 3 weeks of preparation. Multiple cameras. Professional staff briefed on security concerns. The stage was set for the most public takedown of my life, or hers. I spent 3 weeks crafting the menu of my lifetime. Herb-crusted lamb with rosemary juice, wild mushroom risotto with truffle oil, seared scallops with saffron cream sauce. The same saffron that had been weaponized against me would now be my crown jewel. But more importantly, I was preparing for war. I briefed my staff about security concerns regarding potential food tampering from jealous relatives. Keep eyes on this woman at all times, I told my sous chef Marco, showing him Kelsey's photo. She's tried to sabotage food at previous events. Marco nodded grimly. Rich people drama. Got it, chef. We'll watch her like hawks. I installed discreet cameras throughout the kitchen and dining areas. Every angle, every moment would be captured in crystal detail. Most importantly, I reached out to Ashley. I have proof, I told her over video call. Video evidence that you were never the problem. She's done it to 7 different women. Ashley's face crumbled with relief and rage. I knew something was wrong, but everyone made me feel like I was losing my mind. Would you be willing to appear during the anniversary dinner? To tell your story? Her eyes hardened. Absolutely. It's time people knew the truth. 50 witnesses. Multiple cameras. One final trap. What Kelsey didn't know was that her reign of terror was about to end. The night of Patricia and Robert's 40th anniversary, my restaurant had never looked more beautiful. Soft jazz, flickering candles, the scent of culinary perfection. 50 of Portland's social elite filled the space. Food critics, business owners, influential families. Exactly the audience I needed. Ryan looked handsome but nervous, probably still feeling guilty about my breakdown in Spain. Patricia and Robert glowed with happiness. Then Kelsey arrived. She swept in wearing designer black, scanning the room with predatory eyes. So quaint, Zoe. Very rustic American charm. Thank you, Kelsey. I'm so glad you could make it, I said with a smile that could cut diamonds. The dinner service began flawlessly. Each course received enthusiastic applause. I watched Kelsey's expression grow sourer as the evening progressed without disaster. During the main course, she made her move. I should check on things in the kitchen, she announced gracefully. But Marco stepped smoothly into her path. Kitchen's off limits during service, ma'am. Health department regulations. I'm family, Kelsey insisted, her smile faltering. No exceptions. Chef's orders. Behind Marco, 3 staff members positioned themselves strategically. Kelsey's eyes flashed with fury, but she couldn't make a scene in front of 50 witnesses. She returned to her table, defeat written across her features. The evening continued flawlessly. By dessert, a spectacular saffron creme brulee that made Patricia weep with joy. I knew I had won. But the real victory was yet to come. As champagne was poured for toasts, I stepped forward with a microphone. Before we toast Patricia and Robert's incredible 40 years, I have something special to share. A story about family, truth, and protecting the people we love. The lights dimmed. The wall screen activated. 3 months ago, something happened that changed my life forever. The timestamp appeared. Valencia, Spain. 50 people watched in stunned silence as Kelsey's calculated sabotage unfolded in perfect clarity. Her waiting. Her deliberate walk. The malicious smile as she destroyed my paella. Gasps rippled through the room. But the sabotage didn't start in Spain, I continued, my voice steady and clear. It started 8 months ago, right here in Portland, with anonymous attacks on my restaurant's reputation. The screen filled with screenshots of the fake Instagram posts, the fabricated reviews, the systematic character assassination. Every negative post traced back to the same source. The same person who has spent 5 years destroying women who dared to love her brother. The audience was transfixed, watching the digital evidence unfold. But that wasn't isolated, I continued. The screen split, showing Ashley's pie, 7 different women sabotaged systematically. The pattern became clear when I discovered Ryan's preference for women in the culinary field. Hotel management school hadn't just given him career skills, it had given him a type. And his sister had noticed. For years, these women were told they were incompetent, unstable, not good enough. They were gaslit into believing they were the problem. Ashley appeared via video call, poised and strong. "I thought I was losing my mind," Ashley said. "For 3 years I believed I was just a terrible cook. Tonight I learned the truth." The room erupted in horrified whispers. Ryan looked struck by lightning. "The most heartbreaking part," I continued, my voice breaking, "is how this happened. Ryan, the man I love, innocently shared my fears with his sister, never knowing she would weaponize them." I played the audio of Ryan describing my cooking anxiety to Kelsey. "Ryan isn't malicious. He's a good man manipulated by someone he trusted. Someone who systematically destroyed every woman who tried to love him." Kelsey sat frozen, her facade crumbling. Ryan stood slowly, his chair scraping against the floor like a broken promise. The tears came in waves, each one carrying the weight of 7 destroyed relationships. "Zoe, His voice cracked completely. "I handed her the knife every single time." The room held its breath. "I thought." He turned to face the 50 witnesses, his successful, confident facade crumbling. "I thought sharing your fears with family was what husbands do. I thought I was protecting you by preparing them for your anxieties." His laugh was hollow, broken. "Instead, I was teaching a predator exactly where to bite." "You loved your sister," I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. "And she weaponized that love to destroy innocent people." Patricia's sobs echoed off the restaurant walls, raw, guttural sounds of a mother confronting an unthinkable truth. Robert sat frozen, his weathered hands trembling as decades of willful blindness collapsed around him. But then Carmen appeared on screen, her weathered face filled with quiet dignity. 15 years I worked for this family," she said simply. 15 years I watched Señorita Kelsey hurt innocent women and I said nothing. Until she screamed at me about a worthless face. Until I realized that silence makes you guilty too." Patricia's face went white with shock. The room stirred uncomfortably, recognizing a power dynamic they'd all ignored. But Ryan wasn't finished. He turned to face the entire room, his voice breaking. "I need everyone to know. I gave Kelsey the information she used to destroy these women. I thought I was sharing concerns with family. Instead, I was handing her weapons. That guilt will live with me forever." Kelsey found her voice, but it came out strangled, desperate. "You can't just, people won't believe." "Actually," Carmen's voice cut through the speakers with quiet finality, "I can prove everything. 15 years of security footage. Every dinner party, every sabotage, every victim. And now 50 witnesses to your reaction." If this story of courage, truth, and reclaiming your power resonated with you, please subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories of justice and healing.